Hello, Hellions. How are we doing tonight? I've got some time off. It's time to upload another amazing video featuring another amazing artist playing another amazing song. Tonight we're going to Leighton, East London, to bring you a fixture of the new wave of British heavy metal, the legendary Iron Maiden. What do we talk about when we talk about a band of this stature? I mean, without really beating a dead horse. You know, bands like this, you pretty much know everything. Let's talk about a record called Somewhere in Time, which is it's a record that is very science fiction orientated. And it is about the future moving on and the past getting left behind is basically the concept behind this. This is probably the first Maiden record I ever bought. And it's incredibly unique in the sense that this is the only Iron Maiden record, I believe, to ever have used synthesized guitar. So in the mid 80s, synthesized guitar was kind of a fad that showed up. Mostly pop artists, new wave, electronic artists would use this. Iron Maiden was probably the only heavy metal band that experimented with this. And it was highly controversial. Of course, I was too young to even know what was going on at the time. I just thought it rocked. So a synthesized guitar was kind of like you're basically putting your guitar or your guitars through a synthesizer, and I think they called them Moogs, or that maybe that was a brand, the Moog. I'm not entirely sure. So I guess the controversy with it was that the heavy metal purists, the rock and roll purists, didn't like it because it was kind of like the guitar playing tricks. Like I mean, even though they didn't change the guitar sound or the electric guitar sound, they hold notes longer than you should really be able to hold a note. Because like a synthesizer, you can hold a note and be like, you know, that sort of thing. You can hear when they do the dual guitar attack, made famous by people like Maiden and Priest and Slayer. One of the guitars might be a little higher, a little lower, even though they're playing the same notes, and it's just a more synthesized sound. So the purists really didn't like it. Me personally, I think music is meant to be experimented with. I don't have a problem with people experimenting with sound in music or innovating the genre, upping the game a little bit. I think it was a bold move for Iron Maiden to kind of do this. The other side of this controversy, though, and something I kind of agree with, is what's the point of running a guitar through a synthesizer unless you're going to make it sound like a trumpet or make it sound like 20 guitars playing? Why don't you just get a synthesizer and a guy who can play one on stage? I mean, you can make a synthesizer sound like a guitar. What's the point of running a guitar through a synthesizer? So that I kind of actually agree with that, and and after all these years, you can see bands who do that now with a lot of your symphonic black metal, like Dimmu Borgir, or your progressive metal, progressive rock, your like kind of like your Dream Theaters and stuff. I mean, these nobody's afraid to bring the synthesizer or the keyboard player up on stage. Um, but back in the mid '80s, you were a 4 or 5 piece, and it was guitars, bass, drums, and singing. That's what you did. So there you go. So the synthesized guitar, its popularity came and went really quickly in the '80s. I mean, if you blinked, you would have missed it. I didn't know anything about it until I heard that story probably in the '90s, but I thought it was interesting, and then I go back and listen to Somewhere in Time, and I'm like, holy crap, I can hear it. That's weird. I've never really paid attention before. Okay, talking about wasted time, one of the greatest songs on this record is called "Wasted Years." For years, I have always been a diehard Number of the Beast, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Those albums can do no wrong. Those are the two greatest Iron Maiden records. I would say probably a good 4 to 5 years in high school, Peace of Mind might have been my favorite Maiden record. But after all this time, and now that I'm gray, I'm getting older and balder and fatter, I think the song "Wasted Years" off of Somewhere in Time might be my all-time favorite Iron Maiden song. And I've seen them play it live twice, and I get chills every time I hear it. It's just such a good song. It's so universal. Any nationality could relate to this song. I mean, it's all about age and being here now and in the present, and moving forward, and not thinking about the past so much. So, without further ado, let's play "Wasted Years." If I can find it. There it is. So there you go. Wasted Years by the legendary Iron Maiden. One of the great songs that they've ever written. I actually don't really hear the synth in that song. Maybe that's another reason why I like it. It harkens back to early classic Maiden. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. I'm sticking to it, and hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.